this meeting of the Yuba City City Council to order January 6, 2026. This is closed session. This meeting is being held in the council chambers, which are open for public attendance and participation. The meeting will also be live streamed for public viewing but not participation at the link identified in the agenda. Email comments sent and received by the city clerk at least 24 hours before the meeting were distributed to the city council prior to the meeting. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Boomgarden. Here. Vice Mayor Pasquale.
Here.
Councilmember Cole.
Here.
Councilmember Kirchner.
Here.
Councilmember Shaw.
Here. Mr. Shannon Chapin, can you please read the closed session item?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We have two items closed session this evening. Item A is liability claim. Claimant is Deborah Lane. Claim number 2543. Agency claimed against the city of Yuba City. Item B is liability claim. Claimant Adam Anthony Perando. Claim number 2544. Agency claimed against the city of Yuba City. Thank you.
All right, any public comment? I do need to put that in there, right, Shannon?
I knew you were going to catch it.
All right, seeing none, hearing none, we will turn it into closed session. Is your mic on? All right, I'd like to call this Yuba City City Council meeting of January 6, 2026 to order. The meeting is being held in these council chambers, which are open for public attendance and participation. The meeting will also be live streamed for public viewing, but not participation, at the link identified in the agenda. Email comments sent and received by the city clerk at least 24 hours before the meeting were distributed to the city council prior to the meeting. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Boomgarden.
Present.
Vice Mayor Pasquale.
Here.
Councilmember Cole.
Here.
Councilmember Kirchner.
Here.
Councilmember Shaw.
Here.
Before we get into the main portion of the meeting with the invocation and the pledge, my colleagues and I would like to take a moment to recognize this is tough. Recognize the passing of Doug Lamalfa. He was a friend to all of us up here, and very well known to us, a super strong champion for not only the city of Yuba City, but our entire region. Water activity, ag, wildland, you name it. If it had to do with rural America, Doug was a champion. He met with us periodically, advocated for the city, had a strong hand in levees, the levee improvements that have occurred around here. And just, as I think we've all mentioned, and I'm certainly going to turn this over to my colleagues to share a few thoughts of their own. But this guy was, he was just a regular guy in politician's clothing. He cared. And, I'd reached out to see if he and I could meet. And this is the kind of guy he was. He was on his way to this was a couple weeks ago. He's on his way to Sacramento. He was flying back to D.C. And he said, "Hey, let's get together at In-N-Out." And I'm thinking, In-N-Out? It was 9 o'clock at night. And I'm thinking, I don't want to go to In-N-Out at 9 o'clock at night. And I'm sorry I didn't, because now I have that regret. But just a super good guy. And I'll turn it over to the Vice Mayor, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the mayor's comment about him being a politician not in those clothes was spot on. I met Mr. Lamalfa the first time when he was first running for state assembly over here at the Veterans Hall, one of his first ever meetings. And I was right in the front row. And many years later, when I was a trustee, and he was in Washington at that point, I went up to him and I go, "Oh, Doug, I was in your first meeting," and he looked at me and goes, "You remembered that?" I said, "Yes, I did. I remember that because you were so genuine as a human being," and he didn't have that aura of being a politician trying to sell you something. He was just down to earth, saw some issues that he wanted to address, and I believe he did in his career, and he will be sorely missed. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, so the news of Doug LaMalfa's passing was definitely a shock. You can see by the response today how beloved he is, and I only met him a couple of years ago, but he went out of his way every single time to sit and chat with me. And at the last event was the veterans event back in, I think, August. And we sat and chatted for probably 30 minutes. And when he talks to you, no one else is in the room, even though he's got 1,000 other things to do. So I just will always definitely remember, I think like everyone else, his authenticity and pure and simple form of leadership. He's a kind, well-intended patriot, just a solid guy that I think we all should emulate as leaders. So he will be missed.
Thank you. Councilmember Shaw, please.
Today's been a tough day. You read the stuff that people's posted and you hear different comments. And yeah, Doug was our congressman, but really we lost a friend. And getting to what each of us knew, I've known Doug for in excess of 25 years. Still remember the first time I met him on Plymouth Street. But it was more than just working in the political realm together that we've been able to, over the years, it's just, he was a friend. It's not many friends that you can text while they're sitting in the chambers during the State of the Union and they'll text you back. He would come and be a part of different things with my family and I that were here in the community. Not because he was our congressman, because he was a friend. That's really the big thing that's sunk in, is we've lost not only a champion for this entire region, but the heart really breaks tonight. And for Jill and the rest of the family, because he was a friend, whether you met him for the first time or whether you've known him for 30 years. That's just who Doug was. And he was always dressed up in farmer formal, is I guess what you can call it, with his jeans and a sports coat. And his cowboy hat most of the time, like we talked a little bit earlier, but there's a big void, and our hearts go out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't think anybody of us really knew what to think this morning when that was the first thing that came across our phones. The first thing I thought of was the Christmas card that many of us received from Doug this year, and my heart really goes out to that family right now. It really does, because their patriarch is no longer with us, and they've got a big hole to fill. And this community has some big shoes to fill. What always impressed me about Congressman LaMalfa was accessibility. And I think when you get in this line of work, that is one of the most important things that someone can say about you, is that you're accessible. And especially at his level. And there was one, and that's not just locally, that's if you happen to be in Washington, D.C., at Capitol Hill. He was accessible. And I can think of at least one example a couple years ago during the MLK march over at Bethel A&M, which is a really small church over in Marysville, smaller than this room. And I remember sitting there in the audience, and Doug walked in the back door and sat down next to me, and I was thinking, man, this guy's district is how big? And he came to this little tiny church in Marysville. So that was really impactful to me, and it showed me really what that man was about. And it was and he was one of his constituents, and he will be missed.
Great words. So if you will, I'm going to take this opportunity, just a moment of silence for Doug LaMalfa. All right, thank you for indulging us with that. Again, a true leader, a true friend, and someone who will be greatly missed. Invocation, Councilmember Kirchner, please.
We please stand? Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you to ask your guidance in the new year. Let us recommit to doing your will in carrying out the responsibility we have sworn to do. This morning, many of us woke up to news that our community had lost a colleague and a friend. Once again, we are reminded of the briefness and temporal nature of this life and to make every day count. Be with us this evening to do just that. In your name we pray. Amen.
Councilmember Cole, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, could you please report on the closed session items?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There were two decisions rendered in reportable actions in closed session. Both of them for item A and B were notices of rejection by the City Council. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Any agenda modifications? Seeing none. Public communication, you are welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment is taken on action items appearing on the consent calendar or business items on the agenda when they are called. Public comment on any other items within the scope of the city's jurisdiction, including items not listed on the agenda, will be considered at this time. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Members of the public submitting written requests at least 24 hours prior to the meeting will be allotted 5 minutes to comment per speaker. Repetitive comments may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group. I do have one speaker card. Do we have comments from anyone else? All right, Mr. Tony Farley.
Tony Farley, North Yuba City, Willow Creek Drive, 20 Willow Creek Drive. Yeah, Doug Malfa was an ally for me. He was an Italian guy. I'm part Italian. He's Italian, fellow European. Doug Malfa would be missed. He represented northern half of Sacramento region, and he'll be missed. He helped with FEMA during the floods. During the Overdance spillway, he helped out with the Overdance spillway with the OES. Doug is considered an OG of the Sacramento Valley Northern. OG means he does a lot of time in the Congress from Sacramento to D.C. He would be missed. Doug Malfa was a true heroic congressional person. And hopefully someday I'll take his spot. I'll be a future congressperson too. Always into politics. So hopefully, Doug Malfa, you hear me in heaven. I miss you, brother. You're OG. Hope you do better in the afterlife and next reincarnation, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Anybody else for public comment? All right, moving on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time that the council votes on the motion unless members of the city council request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual action. Do we have any comments from the public on consent calendar items number 2 and number 3? Seeing none or hearing none. How about my colleagues up here? Anything? All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion on the consent calendar.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Shaw, second by Councilmember Kirchner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the consent calendar is approved unanimously. Business items, salary adjustments. These will be presented. This one's presented item number 4 by Robert Bendorf, City Manager. Here he comes.
I'm still the interim city manager, so I'm just haven't really gotten to the flow of this stuff yet. So the items before you today are salary adjustments for the Director of Finance and also the Director of Human Resources. And how that came to be, hey, you'll see the adjustments in the relative staff report. I don't have a presentation for you. But so there's good news to report, and I'll start off with that first. So Gina Rowland has agreed to hang out with Yuba City for a little while, allegedly. Where is Gina? Oh, there she is. So she has agreed to hang out for a little while with Yuba City. As you know, she has been here prior as the HR director, I believe. How many years ago? Just a couple, right? Yeah. So anyway, but she has been serving in an interim role for your council for the city and just done a phenomenal job. Nothing but positive feedback. We've had discussions under my authority as interim city manager, certainly offered her the position. She has agreed to come out of retirement and hang out with the department head crew back there. And I certainly know for me, it's very welcome. And she has been just such a bright spot along with all your other executive team members. And we're really happy to have her on board. But it's common with filling of executive positions like we did previously. We always want to make sure we review the salary and benefits and make sure they're up to par with comparables, et cetera. And we did that. And it resulted in a slight adjustment for the HR director, as well as looking at the finance director to make sure that was moved along with that position. And you'll see the fiscal impact in there, and it's not much of anything. It's spread between general fund and non-general fund for both of their positions. So having said that, I think I'll go into the next item, which is item B. As part of that agreement, your council needs to approve the starting balance of, I believe it's 120 hours for the Director of Human Resources. So that's the starting vacation balance. So anyway, recognizing that, I would submit to your council that I am really excited that Gina hopefully gets your endorsement of being the next HR director for the city of Yuba City for the next 15 or 20 years. She guaranteed 10 to 15. We were hoping we can stretch it a little bit longer than that. So that's all I have for you for your council's consideration.
Before I read the required Brown Act verbiage, any comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, I'm assuming I need to read this. Okay. As required by the Brown Act, Government Code Section 54953, subsection C, paragraph 3, I guess. Prior to taking action on this item, the council must publicly announce a summary of the action being considered if adopted. The proposed resolution will approve the employment agreement with Gina Rowland for the Director of Human Resources as follows. Our first bullet item is ongoing term until terminated by either party or replaced or amended by mutual agreement. Second bullet, annual salary of $183,984. Third bullet, health, dental, vision, long-term disability, life insurance, deferred compensation, retirement, sick leave, administrative leave, and holiday benefits, same as other executive management employees. Fourth and final bullet, starting vacation balance of 120 hours and vacation leave accrual at the biweekly rate of 7.1 hours in recognition of her prior years of public agency service. Okay. With that, I would entertain a motion or, again, comments prior on the action.
Do we, excuse me, Mayor, do we have any public comment on this item?
Why, thank you. I remember you from 4 years ago. Yeah. Maybe we ought to just put that on the screen back there. It's like a prompter, right? There we go. Public comment, please. Anybody? All right. Seeing none.
That's it.
Through the mayor, I move to approve the salary adjustment for the Director of Finance, Director of Human Resources, and approve the starting vacation balance of 120 hours for the Director of Human Resources, and welcome Gina to our team.
Second.
All right. I have a motion by Councilmember Shaw, second by the Vice Mayor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Passes unanimously. Number 4, Gina, welcome. Oh. It's new to me. Item number 5. City manager employment agreement. This is going to be presented by Gina Rowland. It says interim human resources director, but now you're permanent. Do we have, oh, go ahead.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Gina Rowland, Human Resources Director, effective January 10th, by the way. So I guess I'm still interim.
Okay.
So the City of Yuba City's permanent city manager position became vacant in March 2025 after the resignation of City Manager Diana Langley. So to ensure a smooth transition of leadership until the recruitment process could be completed for a new city manager, as you know, Robert Bindorf was appointed by the City Council as interim city manager effective March 4th of 2025. So in preparation for a recruitment for a new city manager, as Robert just mentioned when he was presenting the previous item, Human Resources requested a third-party salary survey that was conducted by Bryson Associates using the same survey methodology and comparable agencies as that negotiated with our largest bargaining unit, Local 1. And that survey showed that the current salary for Yuba City's city manager position was 26.9%, so 27% below the median for our salary, or for the median salary in comparable agencies. So as such, the Human Resources is recommending that the salary be increased to that of the average or the median in the comparable agencies. There's no increased cost to the city in fiscal year 25-26 resulting from this recommended action because the position was filled on an interim basis for the first half of the year and didn't accrue all of the other benefits of a normal full-time position. In fact, the city manager's office is going to realize about $13,220 in salary savings this fiscal year. The increased annual cost going forward for the employment agreement between the city and Mr. Bindorf is approximately $55,770,000. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor for additional report.
Thank you. As Gina noted, Robert came to us after Ms. Langley tendered her resignation, and it was part of a competitive hiring process where we had a group of individuals that became interested in a position. Robert clearly rose to the top of that. And the reasons for that, besides his 40 years of experience in local government and his prior position as a county administrative officer and his extensive portfolio, if you will, of things that he has done for both nonprofits and his consulting, he definitely clearly showed us that this was a guy that was going to be somebody that we really wanted to try to grab a hold of if we could. And I think that his connection to the community, when you look at these positions, you know, you can always, I think, lean towards trying to see somebody who's already connected, because it's difficult to come into a community and there's a pretty steep curve if they don't know who the heck they're trying to interact with. And what Robert brings, aside from, you know, like I said, very good leadership, is the fact that he is super well connected, and that will be a tremendous asset to this council and to the workforce as well as to the city itself. Clearly, when we got into this, we weren't exactly sure if we were going to get to this point just because of time and Robert's commitments. He's a very talented and desired consultant, but his commitment to the city of Yuba City, because he's a lifelong resident, and he certainly impressed us as well with his commitment to want to be here. Okay, that's just as important as anything else, I think. He wants to be in this position. He has already, in my opinion, based upon feedback, gained the respect of those he works alongside of. And for that reason, I think that we're very fortunate to have Robert as in the position here for us to consider to appoint him to a permanent position. I don't really have anything else to add. Would my colleagues like to add anything? Okay. I know we do have some public comment. Any questions for Ms. Rowland first before I go? None? Okay. All right. Do we have any comments from the public? I do have a speaker card. Mr. John Cassidy, please.
Right.
As much as it pains me, first of all, congratulations, Mayor. Looking forward to your leadership. David, thank you for what you did the last year. And the entire council, couldn't be more proud of this group. I've lived in Yuba City since 1985. Don't worry, Robert, I'll get to you. Since 1985, and I've seen a lot of really good people stand up and sit in those seats and really try to do the right things. I've seen a lot of really good people sit in Robert's seat and try to do the right things. I've never been more excited than I am tonight about the future of Yuba City. And your leadership and your critical thinking skills are obvious in your choice of Robert. And I know I'm never going to be able to live this down with him, but thank you for bringing somebody on board that regionally is incredibly well known and very talented. And there's been a lot of economic catalysts in this region, especially lately, that are very obvious on both sides of the river. And Robert's largely responsible for a couple of those large things happening. And I'm hoping on this side of the river now that everything really starts to take off with the vision that you all have and the efforts you're making. And I want to thank you on behalf of one citizen that's been around here since '85 for putting somebody in that position. I think that will help take the city to another level. So I wish you all the best in '26 and thanks for your hard work. And good luck, Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Cassidy. Anyone else from the public like to speak? Okay. As required by the Brown Act, Government Code Section 54953, subsection C, paragraph 3, prior to taking action on this item, the council must publicly announce a summary of the action being considered if adopted. The proposed resolution will approve the city manager employment agreement with Robert Bendorf as follows. Bullet 1, ongoing term until terminated by either party or replaced or amended by mutual agreement. Bullet number 2, annual salary of $280,000. Bullet number 3, health, dental, vision, long-term disability, life insurance, deferred compensation, retirement, sick leave, administrative leave, and holidays, same as other executive management employees. Number 4, vehicle allowance of $1,000 per month in lieu of a city-provided take-home vehicle. And the final bullet is starting vacation balance of 120 hours and vacation leave accrual at the biweekly rate of 7.1 hours in recognition of his prior years of public agency service. Any other questions, comments?
Through the mayor. Just a couple of comments before we take a vote here. Just want to say this openly in front of everyone here. Robert, again, I've said it before to you personally and stuff. Thank you for taking my phone call almost a year ago. And I have no doubt that you are exactly what we need for this city at this exact point in time. I look at the leadership that we have in our executive team, and we did it this last year. I enjoyed my time working very closely with you last year, and I'm thrilled that we got to this point that we are here tonight. I honestly think we have the best executive in the region that's going to be sitting permanently in our chair. So that's my comments right there. You're well worth the time and the due diligence we put in. So,
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you, Robert, for taking the position. It's the atmosphere in this state is your city managers are dropping off right and left. And we were faced with the fact that we had lost a really good lady, and we're going to have to replace with somebody that hadn't earned their spurs yet. And that worried me greatly that we were going to have to take somebody that was new to this, maybe an assistant manager wanting to move up to a permanent city manager. And for you taking this, I think it solidified that we've got our team together at this point. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Through the mayor?
Mr. Kirchner.
I'll just echo what's already been said up here, Robert. Thanks for picking up the ball and running with it. Thanks for putting up with us. That's not always the easiest thing. And as the vice mayor said, statewide, city managers are in demand, and you know that as well. So it's been a privilege getting to know you these last 10 months. And I look forward to potentially working with you longer. So thank you.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
When I go last, I don't have to say as much, but I echo everything they said. And Robert, I just adore you. I think that you are so sharp, and being in your presence is just a learning experience, really. Every moment is, you teach us something, and you're a natural morale booster when you step into the room. And I think that our E-team can attest to that. I feel the growth from last January to now, and you are a big part of that. We're fortunate to have you. You've already worked so hard, and I just am very honored to work with you. So thank you so much.
All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Through the mayor, take action on item city manager employment agreement. Adopt a resolution approving city manager employment agreement between the city of Yuba City and Robert Bendorf and appointing Robert Bendorf as city manager effective January 10th, 2026.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by the vice mayor, second by Councilmember Shaw. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved, or the action is approved unanimously on item number 5. Congratulations, Mr. Bendorf.
Thank you. If I may, I was going to try and maybe comment beforehand to convince you otherwise, but
Wouldn't have worked.
so I just wanted to take a quick couple minutes, if I may, Mr. Mayor. And first of all, thanks to the council for the opportunity. And it's amazing what a phone call and a calzone will get you, I guess, right? So I had no idea why Dave Shaw appeared on my phone to be calling me that night and said, "Hey, have I got a deal for you?" So, I was intrigued. Certainly, I promised myself when I retired at the end of 2020 that I would never sit in a seat like this again. I mean, it's certainly not for the faint of heart, and doing it for a long time certainly caused some discoloration in particular areas. So, but I've enjoyed every minute of it, and not only serving the public, whether it's in Yuba County or here in Sutter County, it's been a joyful experience, and that's what keeps me coming back. But I think for this case, though, for Yuba City, it's a little bit unique. For those that do not know, I first of all, I want to thank for those folks that are here tonight from HR and our E-team and Yuba City residents, and some that I used to work with. Thanks for being here. I go back. I would have never thought in a million years that I'd be sitting in this seat in the city where I grew up. I mean, back from the early 70s when we relocated back to Yuba City, and in a house on Franklin Avenue right across from the fairgrounds, used to try and sneak in the fair for free and would get in trouble all the time. But and being a Bridge Street school kid, a Berry School kid, a Yuba City High School kid, a Yuba College kid, I enjoyed every minute of it, as well as my grandfather, my grandparents, my parents. My kids, who aren't kids anymore, but they're still just as expensive, I guess you'd say. So, but it's been just a great experience in Yuba City. And if there is some way through working for you all I can give back, then I would really like that opportunity, and I appreciate you giving it to me. So since day one of being here at the city, I would have to tell you that if I was to look for one word to describe kind of the vibe here at the city, not only amongst the council, but amongst all of our employees, it's opportunity. And there's so much opportunity, I think, for growth, not only for the city, but for all of our employees as well. You have a fantastic group of nearly 370 employees here. I've had a chance to meet with most of them over the last 9 or 10 months, and I couldn't be more pleased. They are a very dedicated, loyal, professional group that really want the best for Yuba City residents. And I couldn't be more proud to have that opportunity to not only work with all of them, but all of you. To the E-team, what can I say? I mean, this group over here, you are very lucky. They are solid, and what an amazing group to work with every day. There is never any question amongst any of us as to why we do what we do. But the one question that comes up all the time between not only the E-team members, but the folks I get to work with in my office every day is, hey, what can we do for you? And I get asked that question. I've been asked that probably, a good couple thousand times over the last 10 months. And it comes from your E-team members and your employees that always say, hey, is there anything that we can do for you? And that is something you don't see in a lot of organizations. But everybody's rowing in the same direction, and everybody wants to help each other out to make sure we can accomplish for our residents what we need to accomplish. Yuba City has an allure to it. And back in the day, I remember when Chief Harmon, rest in peace, met with me to try to convince me. We were sitting across the table from each other, and I'm a 21-year-old kid just fresh out of the police academy, or Yuba County had sent me. And Chief Harmon, who my parents called them and wanted to meet with me. And so we met at the Waffle House, I think that's what it was called, the old Kmart parking lot area. And he slipped me a folder, and he said, you know what's in there? And I said, I have no idea. And he goes, that's your personal history statement and your application for Yuba City PD. And we want you to come wear, a blue uniform. It's much better than that khaki green kind of stuff that you're thinking about wearing. And so he really tried to convince me, and he didn't have to do much convincing, to be honest with you, because it seemed like everybody I worked with at Yuba County or had the experience to was jumping ship. Because I'd worked in the jail before that, knew a lot of the folks, and they jumped ship to Yuba City. A lot of them did all the time. And so Yuba City's got this attraction about it. I think that's fantastic, and it's region-wide. I don't think that's gotten lost, but I think it needs to be polished a little bit. And there's a little bit of restoration that can happen. And I am so confident that with the leadership team that you have, with your council's decisiveness and the direction you're heading, and looking towards that big picture, and thinking a little bit different, like we talk about all the time, I think great things are coming. And we put some of those things in motion. When I say we, I got to tell you, no matter how much the salary is or whatever, you're paying me to have the best seat in the house. And I appreciate that because I do have the best seat. I get to watch some pretty talented folks come forward with ideas every day about how we can make Yuba City better. And again, I got the greatest deal in the world. You're having me sit in the best seat in the house to watch all of this. And so, and be part of some place that's really dear to me. That's it.
We're pleased, happy, and honored to have you, Robert. All right. I don't know about that. All right, item number 6. I probably just lost some votes. Future agenda items. No? All right. Reports and communications. Robert, we go back to you. Item number 7.
Sorry. The only thing I have, Mr. Mayor, and that is there's an event that's coming up. It has to do with the Yuba Center Healthcare Council. It's coming up in February, I believe, and they're seeking sponsorships through some of my contractor spending authority. I would like to submit, if I can work with the mayor and the vice mayor on an amount for sponsorship of that community event. It's basically a town hall about healthcare in the community, and I know that's something that your council has been very interested in. And I think it's time that Yuba City certainly has a seat at that table and help to sponsor that event. So either at the maybe $1,000 or $2,500 sponsorship level, but if your council is okay with it, I would just like to work with the mayor and vice mayor on the level of sponsorship for that event and be able to attend. This will be the second one they have, and it's showing up to be pretty informative. And I think for all of our residents, when it comes to healthcare and access to healthcare in Yuba City, even though we're not a county, we're not directly involved with the health department, we're indirectly involved because it affects all of our residents on their healthcare in Yuba and Sutter. So that's the only thing. If I can just get general direction, Mr. Mayor, that to work with both of you on the sponsorship level for that.
I got.
And to be clear, this is not general direction. This is preliminary guidance as to what the council would prefer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
I think that works.
that's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Cole.
I have nothing to report, Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Kirchner.
Thank you, Mayor. I will keep this brief. First of all, Happy New Year, everyone. A lot of end of year stuff. So Gil Sizer was canceled. Transit was canceled. As you're going to understand, there's not much going on with mosquito vector this time of year. Was happy to get involved with the DBA installation. So thank you for that invite. Food bank, just ending up the year with a couple of new board members brought on board. And lastly, it was really exciting to be a part of the groundbreaking at Merriment Village, which I get to drive by every day. And hopefully, with the weather getting better, we'll see some buildings going up. And lastly, Mr. Cassidy, thank you for those kind comments. Those were very poignant and appreciated. So thank you. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Councilmember Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report, but I would just like to add one more thank you, and that's to our executive team for answering the call as well. Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor.
Nothing to report, sir.
To me, I really don't have anything to report. It was pretty quiet at the end of the year. Wade covered a lot of the commingled events that we all attended. Robert, congratulations. John, thank you for the kind words. The E-team, guys are awesome. 2026 is going to be a good year, and I'm looking forward to it. To the audience, thanks for being here. It's always a better meeting when we have some folks who are interested in what's going on in their city, so I appreciate that. And with that, we will close this meeting in memory of Congressman Doug LaMalfa, and there we go.